It is no secret that changes have been made to Project Caesar based on your feedback. And while these changes have been maybe hinted at, maybe we've seen a screenshot in a later dev diary that has something that looks like it is different from before, or maybe it was mentioned in the comments. There's never been really a centralized place for all of those changes to be listed out. But today, Johan has posted an new thread, and it is a doozy, so we're going to take a look at that. Here we have thanks for the feedback. Some of the changes as of the 4th of June, which is obviously today. And he posted this 9 minutes ago, but you know what? I just had to get on this. Firstly, here we have diplomatic capacity. There was a conversation in the forums about whether diplomatic relations or diplomatic capacity was better, and Johan was convinced that capacity is in fact the better system. So this is what we're getting. Kingdom of France is currently using 8.61 diplomatic capacity, including capacity for each of their vassals, and they have a starting capacity of 11 based on various issues. French tradition here being the one that I would like to point out. I am a big fan, in fact, of the national ideas system from EU4. So if that is going to make a return, fantastic. Government rank is here as well. This is their, I believe it's called their policies. We learned about it in a very early dev diary, and I've forgotten what exactly they were called. But you know, the slider doodad. And of course, Great Powers as well is making a return. So this is what is giving us a capacity of 11. Fantastic stuff. Membership in some international organizations will count as costing some of the diplomatic capacity. Here, more feedback. This is grammatically all over the place. While the power of your ally determines their cost. So that's what is basically huge here. Narbonne, Bar, Ferez, they're all tiny vassals, so they're only 0.25. Flanders, very strong vassal, 1.68, worth more than an alliance with Aragon, worth more than, Brittany being a vassal as well. So I love this. This is a much better system in my opinion. It pains me when I have to point out something that Victoria 3 did well, but this is one of the things that Victoria 3 did well, in my opinion. So great to see this. Moving on, new pop type. This is one of the very early ones that we had learned about. Tribesmen being added as a pop type. Represent communities that populate rural locations, subsisting on their own as farmers, shepherds, hunter-gatherers, and we can hardly govern since they maintain their own differential social structures and organization. A new pop type. This is one of the very early examples of things that changed based on feedback. So that is great to see as well. Tribes estate. We did not have more than just, I think it was 4 estates at the very start of the Tinto talks process, and now along with the Dimmy estate, which we know is in, and I believe it said 99.9% certain that the Cossack estate was going to be added, we now also have the Tribes estate. It represents the different tribes and clans present in our country, traditionally organized into lineages and kinship groups scattered throughout rural areas who live and work in very diverse ways. Their distance and relative independence from the main centers of power make them difficult to govern, while their distinct customs give them a reputation as fearsome and unruly warriors. Very cool indeed. From the Tinto maps number 1, we have now got a great breakdown of all of the things that did change. They redid the coast, so the coastline has very clearly been changed here versus what it was. They've added 15 more locations, so that 27,300 and whatever it was, 15 extra. 4 more countries have been added based on feedback alone. Zutphen, which I believe is in a personal union relationship with Gelray, if I remember correctly. Bentheim, there was a huge thread basically propping up the idea that Bentheim should be a thing. Really well done thread. Bouillon and Heinsberg, There are several naming corrections and several tweaks to terrain, raw goods, and cultures, as shown in the Tinto Maps feedback thread. This is fantastic news as well. I love seeing this. Big fan of that. Moving on, we've got obviously the different countries. Where would these new countries be then? There's Zutphen. There's Bentheim. Yeah, the rest are around. You can find them if you can. But yes, no, that is great to see. Absolutely fantastic. I am a big fan of seeing feedback being acted upon. But before I close off this it's going to be a short video, I just want to point out another bit of feedback that I recently received from Johan. Maybe I can just see it in here. I made a comment on the Saturday building. I'm a little worried that the different production methods, merely given an increased amount of cannons, means that we're going to get the same tragic system that Vic 3 has, where weapons technology merely increases production, doesn't increase efficiency, damage output, or otherwise, and I don't want to get into the 1800s and be capable of supplying my armies with wooden, iron, and stone production methods. Increasing cannon tech really should lock the earlier production methods, in my opinion. And just to point out what I'm showing here, this is the Cannon Maker Saturday building. Where the different production methods just make a different amount of cannons. And I wasn't supremely happy with that. I did get a response from Johan as well. All this is being juggled around constantly, but I'm not sure the 14th century building could ever compete with an early 19th century one, which has far better production methods and higher throughput. Also, tech impacts the quality of cannons. That makes sense. Been juggling with this for a long time, but adding 3 or 4 types of cannons and 3 or 4 types of guns and 3 or 4 types of ammunition is closer to Hoi 4 complexity. That's fair. I think, like I said, maybe an easier way of, a less complex way of simulating it would be literally what I say here: increasing cannon tech, locking earlier production methods, and if you want to descale your cannons, maybe make older ones because you don't have the production methods, or you don't have the ability to supply, the later ones. Like in EU4, you can select an older type of unit. That's totally possible. So maybe unlocking them again if you do that. I just think that maybe would be a better situation. But yes, Tinto Talks has a new thread type, and that is the feedback thread. So I love it. I think it is a great addition to the game, or to the process, I should say. And it is again just more proof that if you have dedicated and relevant requests, changes that you think would be a good addition or change to the game, then it is worth putting those ideas forward on the forums, in the comments sections, and they will be acted on if they are in fact good ideas. So with that out of the way, if you would like to keep up to date and in touch with all of the updates and news and things coming out of Paradox Tinto with Project Caesar EU5, then hit the subscribe button, like this video if you like it, and leave some comments in the comment section below. I will see you on Wednesday for the next Tinto Talks. Bye-bye.